I just want to welcome everyone to the first episode of our new podcast, Games My Mom Found. Today is January 13th, and we're doing our first episode. We're going to be a podcast coming to you each week where we go back and play mostly retro games, kind of play through it, some games that have sentimental value to us that maybe our mom did actually find back in the day, or maybe a game we just, something that we always want to talk about or want to have other people experience. Some will be brand new experiences, some will be classic adventures that we haven't treaded down in a long time. And who's with me? And my name is Mike. Who's with me today?
My name is DJ Copeland.
My name is Stefan.
And I'm Stuart.
All right, well, thank you.
I didn't know. I'm the only one who did the last name. Now I feel totally out of place.
Hey, I'll do it then. We'll start over. Hey,
no.
It's
It's cool. Let's keep going.
Take it back.
I'm DJ. Just call me Deej. All right, let's go.
He's just DJ. I'm Stuart Hughes. Let's change it now.
God damn it, guys.
Oh, God. Hey, this is gold.
Batman.
Let's keep it. And as you already have seen our title of the episode, the first game we're going to cover is one that I've been meaning to play for, God, must have been over 15 years at this point. It's Super Metroid. I got a lot to say about this damn game. Good and bad. I played it a few times when I was younger, never got past what I call Marlboro, that boss that was in the tunnels, the green thing, looked like Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
To me, it was Marlboro when I was a kid, and that's what he still is.
Oh, right. Wow, that guy's really early.
Yeah, he is.
Dang. I think it's called the Spore Spitter or something like that. I'll look
Marlboro,
up. We should really know this stuff.
You're talking about the alligator-looking one, right?
No. We're talking about the mini boss, like the first mini boss, the Spore Spawn. That's what it's called.
That I didn't
bit
know.
like the big green clam that
that's
out at you.
It looks like a
I
Zelda
didn't know.
boss.
Yeah, duh. You could just sit in the corner with the morph ball, I should say, not roll ball, morph ball, and just sit there.
You know what
and
these are called.
Nothing touches you. And I'm just like, wow, this is easy. And then he
May or may not have
open
been
up,
what I did.
Yep.
shoot him. As a kid, I couldn't get past him when I was like 10 years old, or whatever I was when I played this game. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Well, there's two ways to play Metroid, which is the right way or the smart way. The smart way is to exploit everything, which I'm pretty sure is what they wanted you to do.
I watched so many videos of that game.
I mean, it's a testament to the design that, like, you can play it the quote-unquote right way, and it's still, like, it's a different experience each way. Like, It's a really, like, atmospheric, exploratory sort of story if you play it the way that, just the straight-on, regular progression. And then they show you in the actual game, you can totally break this game if you want. Like, they have those little animals, and they're like, by the way, you've been able to wall jump this whole time.
Yeah. God, the wall, I have so much trouble with the wall jumping.
The timing is really tricky. Yeah.
I hate it.
I got a controller set up for it and everything, and I was like, okay, now that I've gotten up this one wall, let me go take a break and, like, rest my hands so that I don't get, like, a sprain tomorrow or something.
I hated it. I would use save states in between, like, jumping for it whenever certain spots I had to, like, jump up to get somewhere. I'm like, okay, once I got there, we're saving. We're not falling back down this hole again. Like, when you get the phaser beam, I think, or the one that shoots 3, whatever the hell it's called.
That's the spacer.
No, sorry. Yeah,
that's the spacer.
Phaser, okay.
Yeah, that splits it into 3.
Yeah, and then you get the wave. That creates like a wave form with it, which is really nice.
Yeah, the wave is what lets it go through walls, and then the plasma is the one that goes through enemies.
That thing is a good weapon.
Yeah,
it's like the last one you get, so of course, that's the good one.
You need it at that point in the game. You'd be screwed without it.
That's the thing about this game is, like, it always gives you what you need when you need it. Which obviously it seems like a really obvious thing to say, but it's like
not that obvious to me.
Well, you say that,
but it's a deceptively linear game. Like, there's actually, if you follow the main path and don't do the sequence breaking stuff, it's a pretty, like, A to B kind of thing. They're not, like, putting down invisible walls. They're not giving you, like, waypoints or anything, but very subtly, they are just carving out this sort of linear path for you. And you have the illusion that it's like this big open world that you can sort of just go around and do whatever you want in. But honestly, you're pretty much being very sneakily guided through the whole game.
It's a small. I mean, yeah, I know what you mean. The world. I mean, it felt like gigantic when I first played this game, especially back in the day. But looking at it now, it wasn't that big, especially compared to other Metroidvania games.
Oh yeah, and you have
technically 4 maps, or maybe like 5 if you count the hidden stuff, but like really 4 maps only. And
Brinstar, Norfair,
Norfair,
water one,
cafeteria. That's what I always call it.
I don't think that's what it's called.
No, I did that too.
Oh,
yeah, Meridia, which is the underwater one.
Oh man, that's the
one
that has.
That's it. And then Turian, which is tiny. You only get there.
That's so small.
Yeah, I feel like most people remember Brinstar mainly just because Brinstar was a level in Super Mario Brothers Brawl, maybe Melee as well.
Melee, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the first one? The first Smash Brothers, the one that you could like knock. It had the small. Wasn't that Brinstar had Kraid in the background, or am I thinking of Melee?
Yeah, the one with Kraid in the background. Yeah, one of those was. I think the one with Kraid in the background was Melee. I think there were 2 different versions of I think there's a. I'm pretty sure there's a 64 version and a Melee version.
Yeah, I know the 64 version. I just can't remember what planet or what map it's supposed to be. I just remember it exists and I can picture it in my head.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's also Brinstar.
We're not diehard Smash Brothers lore players.
We are not.
Don't remember the rosters of the maps.
Oh man, now this game. I mean, I like parts of it, but it made me angry many times. Like there were a couple times I was just like, I'd get lost and I'd be like, I don't know what to do, and I watched a lot of videos.
That's really really interesting that you had that take. I thought you were gonna love it. I love Metroidvania because like most of the discourse on this game is like, oh my god, it's a masterpiece of game design. Oh my god, it's like the gold standard. But yeah, no, there is some sort of frustrating design. I definitely got stuck on a few parts on this playthrough. That's the other strange thing about it is, for whatever reason, and this is only my personal experience, it kind of runs together for me. It's not terribly memorable.
Well, there's no story. I mean, there's a story, but it's not really given. It's just I didn't even know Mother Brain was an Android computer until I watched the video on YouTube a couple days ago.
Yeah. Is that what Mother Brain is?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very much show don't tell. It's like
it's an Android computer.
That's what I really like about the story, though.
Oh yeah.
It's very minimal. It really only comes in at the beginning and end.
It's almost kind of like it's like Journey now, where it's like you get no story, you're just running along.
Well, you do get story. You do get story.
Yeah.
But a lot of it,
intro and the very end, you'll get a little flyover text.
I always felt
that's only a small part of it,
Mm.
because a lot of the storytelling is visual clues in the environment, which I'm a huge fan of. Like, I love that. I love the way this game tells its story.
Like finding the old suits, kind of like every now and then you'll see them scattered around, like previous bounty hunters or so and so that got killed.
I never really thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think my favorite is the. I'm sure there's a name for like the dead character number 5 or whatever, but you find the guy's suit that's just like busted and like leaking, and when you walk outside, the critters
covered in bugs,
away.
And they skitter away. Yeah, it's awesome.
I forgot about him. I remember running past. I didn't think anything about it. I just said, okay.
It's like the space jockey in Alien before Prometheus came out, when we didn't know what it was. It was just a thing in the background.
That's the cool thing about this game, and it's actually what I really like about Fusion. Fusion does that a lot more, and it does it a lot better, I think. But a lot of the cues in this game, I sort of realized as I was playing through it, a lot of the stuff in this game, a lot of the set piece moments are sort of based. They sort of constructed them based on the idea that you would be playing this game immediately after the original Metroid, and that would be your frame of reference for stuff that's going to happen, because they do all sorts of stuff like this, like the miniature Kraid that you fight before actual Kraid. That's the size Kraid was in the original. So they're being like, oh, this is Kraid. You're fighting Kraid right now. This little miniature Kraid, and you do that whole sequence where you're dodging the spikes down the hallway, like original Mario Brothers style.
Yeah. I never played the first Metroid yet. I've seen it many times. I've never actually dug into it.
Well, this is the third.
This is the third.
Yeah.
This is the one that really nailed down the formula. Like the first two were rough, definitely really rough. But yeah, no, there's a ton of stuff in this game that's like, oh, this is all stuff from the original. Like that very first area you go into where you get the morph ball, that's the original Brinstar from the very first game. Like that is a basically tile for tile recreation of that like introductory area from the first game. So it's like, oh, this is Brinstar. And then you're going around it and you're like, oh, that's weird. And then you run in like a dead end and you have to leave. And then there's this other wall to the left that you bomb. And then there's an elevator and you go down. And it's like, whoa, that wasn't Brinstar. This is actually Brinstar.
You find the morph ball in the same exact location
You
as
do.
well.
You do. Yeah.
I want to say that was definitely planned because I looked it up and I think the first Metroid came out like 86 or something, but then it was re-released in 2004 for the Game Boy Advance, and Super Metroid also came out in 2004. So I want to say it was definitely like
wait, what? Super Metroid didn't come out in 2004?
Came in 1994.
Sorry, not 2004, 1994.
Yeah.
Hey,
I was gonna say,
I think their idea was like, oh, we're gonna put this out not on the Game Boy Advance. Sorry.
I have all the years that it came out for each system, by the way, if you want your fun fact.
There you go.
Boy, yeah, lay it on us.
Let's say 86 was Famicom, right?
I'm not sure about that one. I didn't look. I just looked American.
Yeah, no, it is. It's 90. It's 96. Wait, 86.
We're all off now.
I
said the wrong thing. It just screwed the whole system.
Oh, it did. I mean, I didn't think about this, but it came out in 1994 and didn't get re-released again until the Wii Virtual Console in 07, which I bought twice. I think two different Wiis. One my ex-girlfriend took with her when she left, and then I bought again and I still never played it until today, until this podcast. And then Wii U came out in 2013, 3DS 2016, and the SNES Classic in 2017. So I mean, for a long time that game wasn't even around.
Yeah, it had a good long, like, I don't want to call it not 10-year, but like from like 86 to 2002, it was like three Metroid games and then nothing, and then Fusion to Prime.
I mean, Prime was way later. I didn't look up what year that was, but I mean, like, I didn't even really care who Samus was.
Prime was 2002. It actually came out. I think it came out the same day as Fusion, which is wild.
Yeah,
absolutely wild.
I feel like Nintendo keeps trying to like bring back Metroid. The funny thing is, I always think
begging them for it.
Yeah,
right.
Because you think like, oh, this is the perfect time for Metroid to come back. I always think that. I'm always like, oh, Metroid, this would be a good time for Metroid to come back. And then I think back to like all the times they tried and it just didn't work.
But people still want more. Like there's this very like vocal subset of fans that are like, Metroid.
It's like the Sonic fans. As much as people get mad at me for that, like everybody always wants more Sonic, and
then they regret it real fast.
Exactly. Well, no, because they're like, it's different. Because they're like, maybe this time.
Yeah.
Maybe not this time.
No, well, we did get Mania. Mania was amazing.
I do need to play that someday.
Oh, it is great.
Apparently, Metroid wasn't really like a big seller either. So, I mean, that's kind of a reason why they probably don't go back to it as much. I think Metroid Prime 3 sold like 1 million copies.
Well, yeah, no, I mean,
there is a Metroid Prime 4 that's.
I mean, that is on the way. We did get Samus Returns in 2017, which it's good. I mean, I think it's what we needed.
They're not bad games. They're just not like the big return that Metroid kind of needs.
Yeah, it needs a big like 3D game on whatever their system is. That's like a big, like, I mean, especially now with single player games.
I mean, it's going to be out on Switch and probably sometime in the next 2 years.
Yeah,
and hopefully it's good. Hopefully we get a look at it sometime this year and it just knocks our socks off. And
I hope it's. How funny would it be if it comes out and it's just like Metroid Pinball 2?
I would still buy that.
It's so fun.
Metroid
would
Battle
be really
Network.
mad, but I would still buy it.
The Metroid corners the pinball market in games.
No,
I never did play that pinball.
For real
one.
Though, Metroid Prime Pinball is really good. I'm serious. It's really good.
In terms of pinball games, it's up there.
It is seriously like I would say Pokemon Pinball and Metroid Prime Pinball are pretty like they're jockeying for number one.
I think that was those both came out at a time where developers at some point realized, hey, we have these things that are shaped like balls in our universe.
Mm-hmm.
Why not make a pinball game?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
we have this very iconic ball.
Game Boy in general, like it was like something easy to have in your pocket, something easy to play.
Yeah. He's like, it's just like some dev somewhere was like, oh my god, you know what would be easy?
Pinball. Oh, did anybody have one of the items that they hated using? Like, I did not enjoy the grappling beam.
Oh yeah. No, I wouldn't be surprised if that was everyone's answer. That thing is super clumsy to use. Like,
okay, so it wasn't just me then on my
no. Look, I have issues honestly with this whole control scheme in general. Like, there are games later on, the Game Boy Advance games had fewer buttons, but way better control schemes.
With Metroid, you can tell at some points, like, it wants you to do something. You're like, yeah, that's not even physically possible. Like, it wants you to jump and then transform into a ball, land as a ball somewhere else. And it's like,
people
I can't do that.
Well, no, I think there's one part where you do that, and it's optional.
Yeah,
and it's like challenging you to do that.
I mean, it's the wall jump tutorial essentially.
Yeah.
At the end, they're like,
exactly.
jump and turn into a ball. And
where is the wall jump tutorial? I only ran into the fake ostrich looking thing. I never saw the other animal.
Oh man, it's yeah. Good luck to us, like trying to remember where anything is in.
You don't need to tell me where. I mean, like
it's in like the same kind of area where it's just
it's in there.
Tall.
Yeah.
Run into them both at the same time.
Yeah, it's a very tall portion of the map. I think they're almost next to each other. They're pretty close to each other.
Yeah, they are pretty close. They basically want you to pick both those skills up at the same time. And be like, oh, okay, this is the game breaking shit.
This is the movement tutorial you've been waiting for.
What's the third one? I know there's the super high jump. There's the wall jump. Isn't there a third one?
I know. I think
the third one, I think, is like the grappling beam is kind of like the third movement thing you get.
Okay, I thought there was a third.
Well, no. I think he just means in terms of like stuff that
that it just hits you with right after another.
No, stuff that you could always do. That's like secret hidden techniques. The other one is the the morph ball chain bomb, where you can like
jump.
Yeah, where the bomb jump, the chain bomb.
Yeah,
you can like.
It's just a good way to break your finger.
Really good time. You need to have such good timing.
It's hard.
Yeah.
You either have to have good timing, or you just need to be able to slam the button as fast as possible.
Honestly,
you gotta time it.
For me, no. It's more about timing. You don't really need to like jackhammer the button.
So I can't do the timing for it. I don't know if it's like a platformer thing or what. I just suck at timing.
Honestly, it is pretty tough.
What I would do is just like sit there for like 30 seconds or a minute and just randomly press the button in different rhythms, and then eventually I would just get it.
This is what it sounds like when I try to do is, damn it. All right, okay.
That's a lot of it. A lot of just could not get it. I was getting angry. Yeah, no, I know I picked this game, but I was not happy with my
game.
choice.
It's not easy.
It's just one of those games that's like I've been looking at, and I, probably since I want to say 95 or 96, my friend brought it over to my house. Like, oh, here, look at this. And I've been staring at this game, being okay, one day I'm gonna beat it. And it finally came to this podcast. Because 3 years ago I tried, and I'm gonna play it legit. I'm not gonna use save states. I'm gonna play it completely legit. And I think I got to Kraid, and then I was done. I just couldn't do it anymore. But also, like, this game is depending on, like, I was in a very bad state depression wise, and this game is super freaking lonely. In general.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what people love about it. That's like one of the things that makes this series unique is like it really nails that feeling of isolation. But I could totally see, like, if you were in a not great place, you don't necessarily want that.
Like I was living alone. I was not in a good place mentally, and I'm sitting here playing this, and I'm like, and this game is not helping me at all. Then
especially just like the disparity between this and like every other platformer from that era, of like seeing Mario and then seeing Metroid around the corner. It's made even darker.
Well, I want to be friends with Ridley.
It's all these fields of flowers.
Man, I got so much to say about Ridley, but not yet. Unless
he's probably the toughest boss in the game. I would say.
Ridley,
I hate Ridley.
I actually kind of like him because every other boss before him is like you have to wait for the weak spot or you have to figure out what the trick is. What's the freaking shrimp boss's name?
The crab one.
Yeah, you have to figure out the thing with the grapple beam. Whereas with Ridley, you literally just equip missiles and then you just go ham. Like you're just like,
I didn't do that.
Oh no, that's how you beat Ridley. That's how you beat Ridley. You just rapid fire missiles at him until he dies.
I didn't have enough. I only had 120, so I would be out, not even bright red, and I'd be done. I was like, I didn't find a lot of missiles. Or
so you have to like save your super missiles and.
Yeah, no, definitely.
20.
That's honestly, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough to get Ridley.
You go through all your main missiles.
You just expend all of your, like, the game is designed so that you're able to like waste all your missiles on a boss and not be screwed.
Because then when the boss dies, you immediately get like
you get a bunch of missiles back.
Yeah.
He was definitely the hardest fight for me. Like I hated that. I took 6 or 7 tries to beat him.
Oh, that's nothing.
I wish I took 6 or 7 tries to beat goddamn Crocomire, because I have so much trouble with Crocomire. I don't know what it is. He's not a particularly hard boss, because you realize pretty quickly, okay, I'm just pushing him back.
It's like a sumo match over lava.
Yeah. But I always forget that you can charge your beam and that he's weak to your charged beam. So I always just do missiles, and inevitably the missiles aren't enough to push him back all the way, and I think, what am I doing wrong here? Or else get the timing wrong. So it probably took me like 15 times to beat Crocomire.
Use super missiles on him. They push him back like twice as far.
Not like that.
I went through all my missiles and all my super missiles.
Oh man.
Because I just kept getting in that annoying thing where he'll charge like 4 or 5 times in a row, and it's like, all right, you're not gaining any ground here.
You gotta hit him before he does that.
Yeah.
That's I think that is timing right there.
Yeah. That is absolutely a timing thing.
You just gotta get him like right as he opens his mouth. You gotta get
him right before he charges.
I always forget the pattern with him specifically, so it just screws me whenever I play.
It's so weird. Like, I'm kind of surprised you guys had like so much trouble with these bosses, because like
only Crocomire.
I had trouble with some of them, but like I wasn't like banging my head against the wall for like 30 minutes. I don't necessarily consider myself very great at like games, but they weren't giving me as much trouble for some reason. Oh well, I mean, I have beaten the game before, I guess.
I think it comes down to people are either good at like older platformers or newer shooters.
I'm terrible.
No middle ground.
I'm terrible at newer games, so I guess that's me.
I'm typically better with newer games, and old platformers I love so much, and I used to play so much, and then going back to them, I'm like, I can't do this. I don't remember how to do this.
They're hard.
I think there's a level of predictability to those old 2D games that you just can't get.
Yeah.
With some of these newer 3D ones, like I had so much trouble with the new Spider-Man.
What I suspect is that I like lost my patience at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you just gotta stop. Like,
well, like the new Spider-Man, there was this boss at the end of the game where I just kept dying at this part, and I kept failing on this one specific part where I had to like jump and grapple to a thing and hit the guy with a very specific window, and I did the same thing every time, but a lot of times I missed just because little tiny things were different that time. That
kind of feels like the grapple beam in Super Metroid.
Yeah.
Like just continuously missing.
Swinging is a lot better than that grapple beam. Oh my god!
Well, the thing with the grapple beam is you have to be aiming up. It's like hitting a moving target. You have to be aiming at the block, the specific block.
It's hitting a still target while moving.
Yeah.
Hey, I did it with Epona, but I don't like it this game.
Like it. See, Nintendo gets better about this stuff later on. Like most other games that had a grappling hook mechanic after this would have like aiming that snaps to the grapple point.
Yeah, like like the famous Z-Lock in Zelda, which just
exactly.
That's where I need to go, right there, and the camera focuses
when they brought it in Metroid Prime, it was the same thing. You had this like, I don't know if it locked on necessarily, but
I believe it did.
It did.
Had this big icon that popped up that made it very easy to like aim at, and like they made it very streamlined.
Well, you know those little monsters or I guess they're aliens, whatever, that like hover back and forth. You can ice them and like stand.
Oh
there.
yeah, the
beetle looking
thingies.
thingies.
Little turtle guys.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a part in Super Metroid where there's like 4 of them. You have to grapple to get over to the other side. That's where I had the most trouble.
Yeah, you can grapple onto them.
Oh, that might have helped.
Yeah, it doesn't telegraph that
No.
you are grappling onto them aside from the
That might
fact
have
that.
I don't think
Oh my god,
Maybe
guys! I
did,
just
don't
remembered.
Oh, there's one room.
Yeah.
I think we're on the grappling beam. I'm trying to think what room. It was near the end. There's one room where you had to like grapple across to get to this top, to get to the square. And there's one spot on the last grapple where you have like one square to grapple to on the side, and you had to swing and then grab this one square. I can't remember what area, but it's near the end. It was angering me so much. It took me a lot of time.
I think the only hit you get that you can grapple onto those things is like very near the grappling beam room, I want to say. You see one flying really high up, like right up against the ceiling. And it's very obvious at this point that you can't jump on it, and that's what you've been doing for a while. I think that's the only clue it gives you.
Yeah. I think
the game is streamlined in a way that still makes you like have to problem solve. And like, okay, I know what this is, and I know what I usually use it for, but it's different now. Why is it different?
I think that aspect of this game is really well. Like they struck a really great balance with that.
You kind of lose that with some games now, where
you do.
It'll show you it happening first or something. It's for the most part, it's very obvious, and I get that because that is more fun.
Yeah,
but, more tutorials. Like, I didn't like there was no tutorial in this game.
Yeah. There's nothing.
I'm not that guy.
Like. When it came out, there was only like 3 buttons to worry about. But
yeah. There's this man. I gotta say, like, I freaking loved the shrimp boss. I keep forgetting what the guy is called.
Dragon.
Yeah, Dragon.
Yeah.
Dragon.
Draygon.
Dragon. Okay.
Definitely one of those two.
Because I somehow forgot what the trick was, so I went in, and I was like, getting, string shotted because he's basically caterpieing you. I got string shotted, grabbed. He would suck down my health way too fast, swing me around all over the place. I was like, holy shit, what do I do? I'm getting killed way too fast. There's got to be something I could do. I get killed like 5 times. And I'm like, I see the electrical panels on the side. It's really obvious. I'm like, okay, I got to get him into that. So I'm like frantically mashing the D-pad, trying to like influence him into the side. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, I have the aha moment. And I'm like, grapple beam. Grapple beam. And you do it once and he dies. And it's the most satisfying thing when you actually come to it on your own.
It's that old thing. It's very much an old game standard that doesn't exist anymore. Of like, you were supposed to fail this over and over and over again until you get it.
You accidentally try
and
it.
Thank God for save states. Like I told myself at the beginning of this playthrough, like I'm playing on the 3DS on the Virtual Console, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to use save states. I'm going to do this old school. I'm going to give myself the real experience. And then like an hour in, I'm like, I'm going to use save states.
Oh yeah, you have to with this game. Like,
yeah, because
like
some of those rooms are just way too far away.
I did not use save states, but my strategy for it was, since I'm not using save states, I can use that time running to this place to like make sure I have full everything. Because
but then you're doing that every time you die.
Yeah, but I mean,
I couldn't.
That's not. I can deal with that. Like I'm patient enough to deal with that.
Who misses that? Like standing next to a pipe for 5 minutes to just shooting all the beetles.
Well, I will say we have Fallout on the docket, and you're gonna
is
have
there
to be
a
ready.
lot of that?
Oh, Fallout, there's a lot of, I did not do this fight the right way, and I do not have enough, so I'm going to need to reload this entire sequence.
You, by the way, with Fallout, I think.
Oh, God, yeah.
Sounds
I
good.
mean, I said it, and I was like, I shouldn't say it because everyone will hate me, but I think if we're going to start with Super Metroid, we can do something a little hard, too.
Okay. Jeez, I picked the easiest game, guys. What?
It's going to turn into, by episode 5, we're all just going to be saying, We're also going to be picking the hardest games we can think of just to screw each other over.
No,
Just...
no, I'm going to have a different tack. I'm going to pick like really weird, obscure stuff.
Like the Japanese, like the Japanese like arcade games where you have to be within a millimeter of the screen to get it right.
Oh God, no! I wouldn't do that. But... Yeah, no, maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll do that like weird Salaryman rhythm game for the Dreamcast. You remember that one?
Oh God, any rhythm game I promise you now, any rhythm game I will not beat.
No, oh God, no, I wouldn't. I hate them too. But
I like Guitar Hero.
Welcome to episode 6, Guitar Hero edition.
No,
don't worry, you already got.
I would hate you forever. Don't do that to me.
I try to find a way to like hook my keyboard up to do it. It's just dig out a controller.
When it comes to doing anything, like executing anything like rhythmically, like I can't do it. I can't do any of that.
Is it which Rock Band did they introduce where you had to do the vocals as well? Is that Rock Band 4?
No, I think that's the first Rock Band. I think that was the whole gimmick. Was
like the gimmick of Rock Band is you get to sing.
The gimmick of Rock Band is they were competing against Guitar Hero, and they were like, "Well, in that
we
one
have the drums and you can sing and do all this stuff too."
Yeah, no, yeah. With us, you can play bass, you can play drums, you can do vocals, and that was their whole thing.
Should find a way to like do the Rock Band that they were planning, where you just have an actual guitar. And an actual bass. You remember that?
Hey, that's not Rock Band. That's
Was that Guitar Hero?
No, I own
Rocksmith.
Rocksmith. God,
I have the guitar. I have the actual guitar in storage. It's sitting in the box for about 5 years, but I have.
Just buy an actual guitar.
I got it for.
I guess they wanted it to be like. It was like you can actually learn how to do it.
I'll get you a $20 guitar.
Hey, it was on clearance at my Sam's Club. I had to buy it.
I'll go down to Guitar Center's not doing great right now. We'll go down to Guitar Center and find a $20 guitar.
They're going out of business eventually, probably, but that's another story. Oh, but speaking of like long hallways, I freaking like Ridley. I would have hated that because fighting those bodyguards before you get to Ridley.
Oh yeah.
Man, that fight. Like I fought the fight. Like I'm gonna go save, and then I went back and I'm like, what? They're still here. Oh, I was not happy.
Oh, yeah.
How I do that is mentally I go, okay, I do not have enough going into this for the Ridley fight. I'm just going to close the game and restart it, essentially.
Well,
and just fight them again.
You can refill after that fight. There's some little enemies they sprout out of a pipe for you.
Yeah.
Which are just the best, because you just turn around, and every time you turn around, like, oh, I'm looking away. I hope nothing attacks me.
Yeah. That's the worst. That's actually the worst is when you're trying to farm health and then you like turn around like at the wrong time and then they come out and you're trying or like oh shit and then they hit you like and you just keep getting hit while you're trying to heal.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned Fontoon, I think his name is the guy in the wrecked ship, the ghost ugly.
Yeah,
Fontoon, whatever that. Yeah.
By the way, probably my favorite part of the game.
The wrecked ship?
Just the whole wrecked ship.
It's such a cool. I mean, the entire atmosphere of the game is awesome.
There's
definitely points to the game where
it's such a cool like contrast to the rest of the environments because
even just like heading towards
feels like the oddity of them.
Even just heading towards like Ridley's statue, it gives you that like exterior feeling that you're.
Gold statue is. You talking about the gold statue?
Just the hallway before you get there, though. It's like a long hallway with like the red lights, and you see the
flag.
Yeah.
You're going down to
like visual. You're like running towards it. It's before you enter the room. It's like one hallway that's outside.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
The first time I went in that room, I jumped over all the lights thinking I couldn't run past them. And I realized later on, I could just run.
Yeah.
And I jumped over like multiple times. I went through that room. I jump over thinking they were obstacles, and they were not. The game tricked me.
Yeah.
I love that room too. Just the really you know what that is immediately upon seeing it. These are the bosses.
Yeah.
Lights I have to extinguish.
One thing that I wish the game would have told me ahead of time. I didn't know if you hold down, I think it was B or one. Well, it wasn't B on my controller, but for like dashing before you have the speed boost, you can still like run faster. I did not know that.
They have that one room where you're forced to figure that out.
The video told me. But
I got stuck there on a previous playthrough, like my first playthrough of this game. I got stuck there for like an hour, and I was just running back and forth because you're like basically confined to like 2 rooms during that. Like they don't let you go back. So I was just running around. And I was just running around both these rooms, like bombing every single block, racking my head against a wall, and then like I had to look up that there's a run button. That is crazy.
It's stupid. Like that's one thing I don't miss about old games. I don't miss the fact that there's no tutorials. There's no like. I know that's part of Metroid's atmosphere, but I like the game tell me like.
Listen. There are games that don't have tutorials that are really, really well designed, so that the tutorial is like part of the gameplay, and it actually teaches you everything you need to know. Like there are games that do that beautifully. Like Mega Man is the classic example of that. But Super Metroid does not do that as much.
I always liked Zelda's like approach to that of we're just gonna put an icon of the button on the screen, and when you have an item, it'll be over top of that button, so you'll know like you'll learn pretty quickly that if it's in the blue field, that's the blue button on the controller.
Right.
Oh, for the original or
for like I think up to Majora's Mask did that.
Oh, you're talking like Ocarina and stuff.
Yeah, like Ocarina and Majora's Mask had the C buttons, which thank God those are gone. But the C buttons and the A and B on the screen.
And you picked GoldenEye later on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm using no C buttons.
I will say I played GoldenEye not too long ago, and I think that'll be a lot easier than people think because that game has a pretty generous auto aim. That pretty much if you see a guy and shoot, then he's dead. So,
the gun just goes, oh look, he's over there. We'll aim for you. Yeah, you're right.
Like, funny enough, GoldenEye might be the easiest game we play.
Because it knows aiming is impossible with an N64 controller.
Oh yeah. What is the point of that?
Yeah. I was going to like figure out the like modding and for that game to do it mouse and keyboard style.
Oh, you just can't. Like, it's just obvious. You just can't with that game.
At this point, I think I'm just gonna do the regular control scheme and be like, "All right, I'm doing the full experience."
I will say what I did is I have an Xbox One controller. I don't have an Xbox One, but I have an Xbox One controller that works really well, and you can. It automatically set a bunch of buttons for.
I might have to do that.
The look behind the curtain for the emulator I was using, because you can't buy Metroid right now. for PC or anything.
No, not. But hey, I'm glad that we did play it. Like it was nice to go back and play through this legendary game that people talk about. I just never really experienced.
It has such an iconic place and kind of history but not many people have actually touched it.
It's hard. It's hard to get through. It's hard to really like because I mean there's a couple different spots that really just stop you if you don't know what to do. Yeah. I mean, they really will just stop you cold.
Yeah, and they really like you. It does. This playthrough, like, I got past that stuff pretty quickly, but like, while I was stuck, it felt like it was gonna go on forever. Like, I legitimately had no idea what I could even do.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it feels hopeless at times almost. I think that's the atmosphere they were going for.
Yeah, I think in a sense, yes, they were aiming for that.
Something like that. Maybe not hopeless the right word.
Maybe, yeah.
Just like very like desolate and almost Stalker has a similar atmosphere. I know totally different games, but they both have very like claustrophobic atmospheres to them, I guess. Despite being a very open world, it feels like very tight.
Yeah. There is some bullshit in this game though. Like
oh yeah, absolutely.
Most of it, I was not mad at any of that stuff up until right near the end. I think when you were escaping from, like after the Ridley fight, when you're leaving Ridley's realm, where you have to go through this false wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't tell us anyway.
I used the X-ray beam on that wall. Every other fake wall Every other fake ball in the game shows up on the X-ray beam.
I know what you're talking about
too. This one does not show up on the. What? Why?
It just assumes that you know the map by heart at this point, but it's like it's a new area. More
Why?
Just so you'd have to, just in the hope that you'd lose and you'd have to fight Ridley again.
Oh my god!
No, I would not. I would have been
such
done.
a dick move. Why would they do that?
Because it's 1994.
It's 1984 and it's Metroid. Go after yourself.
That's all I got.
Back when Nintendo didn't care about the fun aspect of the gameplay so much, it's just giving
you ain't gonna rent this game. We're gonna make sure you don't finish in a rental period.
Oh, you like Mario? Here's Metroid. Have fun.
You know what? There might have been some of that going on.
Oh, there was a lot of that.
They got a lot friendlier later on.
I would love for Nintendo to come out and release just like a hardcore brutal game like this again. I think that'd be hilarious. Like so hard that people just don't want to play it.
Trying to think. I feel like they have done that at some point recently, though.
I mean, Metroid 4 is Metroid Prime 4. We'll see what that is.
Well, we'll see what that is. Yeah.
I don't think it will. I think it will be kind of following the same Metroid.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to say that the closest to
but it won't be like that exploring.
Oh God, no. Yeah, it won't be.
Well, I mean, they did give us Mario Odyssey, which it
is a difficult game.
Main campaign is dead simple, but after you beat Bowser, if you want to go for more moons, the stuff after that is brutal.
I mean, there's some stuff where it's like you basically have to be trying to break the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're very much dipping back into that sort of Super Metroid mindset with like, okay, you know how to do it the way we designed it to be done. Now we're going to take all that shit away and force you to do it with like a regular jump.
You need to be exploring everything.
Yeah, you need to like be so perfect at like that, like pixel perfect, like right on the edge of the ledge. You have to roll right up to the edge. You have to long jump, like dive, and like you have to be so precise and
I feel like that's like Nintendo's answer to like whatever people do, like the speedrunner practices where they try to break the game. Like there's that one in Wind Waker where it's like there's a thing in Wind Waker where you go to the Hyrule Castle underwater. Spoilers for Wind Waker, I guess. But you go to Hyrule Castle underwater. Yeah. Years after 10 years later or whatever.
I've seen this video.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
It's a bridge that like is cut off by a wall, like a magical wall. And for a long time, speedrunners were trying to figure out. I'm not that into speedrunning, but I watched like a 30-minute like video about this.
I think we saw the same video.
Yeah, it's like
I've never seen this one.
It's like people just trying to get past this wall to like break the game and try to get to the end, hours faster because you'd be able to break the record for speedrunning the game essentially. And so for like years, people were trying to figure out how to get past this wall, and some guy solved it, and I can't remember exactly how he solved it, but it's like ridiculous where you have to basically almost kill yourself and the game will glitch you through it.
I'm going to look this up now. Oh, by the way.
Is this later in the game?
It's near the end of Wind Waker.
Yeah, it's like halfway through Wind Waker when you actually go underwater to Hyrule Castle, which is the point that a lot of people did not get to in Wind Waker. But
the whole story of what Wind Waker is. I do want to play that game. I would like to do that on this show.
We should throw that on the list. That might be my second favorite Zelda game.
Yeah, that's definitely top 3 for me.
And one of the most important questions is who saved the animals at the end of the game?
Oh shit! I forgot you could do that. Where do you even do that?
I just know because all the speedrunners always have that incentive.
Oh damn! I left those animals to die.
Me too. I didn't even.
We have to go back and get the good ending of Wind Waker.
I only had 10 minutes to finish that escaping part in Super Metroid, and I'm like, screw those animals. I don't care where they are. I gotta get on that ship.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot about that part. Damn.
I mean, you're in character. You just got to get out. You don't give a shit.
I was done. I was like,
dude, I was cutting it close at the end there. Like, honestly, like I got on the ship with like 20 seconds left.
I do like how I always remember people would say like the ending of Metroid is ridiculous where you have to get out. on a time limit, but the beginning of the game prepares you for that. The opening,
right?
I think Metroid.
It does the same thing.
Easier.
Yeah.
It is much easier, but it gives you that like hint that this is a thing that exists in this game.
I only had a hard time. I got lost a couple times in the early part where I ended up going like down. I did something where I'm like, oh, I'm in the wrong section. That's why I lost so much time, and I missed a couple jumps a few times pretty bad because I was not crazy about that.
Okay. I was gonna say this earlier, like when you were like, "Oh, what is the most?" Where we were talking about which was the most infuriating power up to use. Which, yes, the grapple beam. I actually think the space jump is worse.
Yeah, it's annoying.
The timing on that it just confounds me.
It's very bizarre.
Like
I still don't have it perfectly.
I don't really understand it.
How I just don't get it.
You're done. You're done. You can't revive it.
There are just some times where it's like you hit the button and then it just doesn't do it. Because I guess I hit it at the wrong time, and then you just fall and you can't get back up. And it's like why?
And you just fall and then sometimes they're like above the Samus' ship. I actually went and flew up there just looking to see if there's any items there. I didn't see any.
There's none.
Right. Okay, good. I looked around though.
It gives you the hint that like something might exist up there, and I think you can climb up the side. You can even see. I don't think there's any power up. There might be like a missile upgrade up there.
No, there is something. There's a hatch up to the right.
There is?
I don't think
it's like a power bomb or a missile tank or something.
Yeah, it's not like super necessary.
Yeah.
Thing.
I mean, you don't need that many. Like, I was always under the impression that you needed like tons and tons of missiles to beat this game.
Oh no,
I had 120 and I had more than enough when I finished. I mean, really, I could have used more.
You find enough along the way, and if you're that into Metroid where you're finding, every single thing, then you're not the type of player that probably also needs all those items.
Well, what was everyone's percent at the end of the game?
This is where I reveal that I did not finish it because I was stuck on Crocomire for so long. I got very close. I got past Dragon, so I was like right before I got past I got past Dragon, so I was right before the Ridley fight.
This is why you don't play the game legit and use save states. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't use save states. I'm behind.
That's what you get.
I will be finishing it, but
you're good.
That was not in time.
I will say I am playing our next game, and I'm not going to reveal what it is for our listeners, but I am playing our next game.
I forgot what this game is.
It's not on the original console, but in its original version. I'm playing a version of it off the PSN store, so no save states.
Okay.
So that's going to be fun.
That's what I'm playing. That's the version I'm playing too. I have it on my PS3.
Oh man!
So I have to send me what the game is because I've totally blanked.
Oh, I can. I'll send it right now.
Yeah.
I think we kind of said it earlier, but
so
we can keep a secret.
No. We said it before we turned.
Yeah. Okay. I remember now.
Okay, good. I just mentioned this on the group, so I'm excited and not excited for next week's game. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be cursing Stefan.
Oh yeah, Stefan, you screwed us.
Yeah, we picked some
rough games for the first week. We're like, let's make a challenge.
Here's the thing: it's like an 8-hour game. This is the longest 8-hour game I've ever played.
Go hard or don't
it's 8 hours if you've played it 5 times before.
Oh my god!
I mean, it took me 5 hours. It said on the thing to beat Super Metroid, but it was way more than 5 because it didn't count when I just stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I died, I mean that's I got to see the game over screen a few times.
Well, I will say
the thing about this is that I have never played this before, so
yeah, it's a survival horror game, so it's going to be a little rough.
Yeah,
but and the controls aren't too great, so I think we'll be suffering together because this is my first time playing it as well. So,
oh man,
I just try to realize it's a series. I know the series, so I feel like I'll do okay, but I have not played this one of them.
I haven't either. I've only beaten one of the series ever, and so I'm going into this. Well, I'll be watching videos as I play it to make sure I don't.
This is now just gonna be 5 minutes of us vaguely talking around.
Yeah. Let's go back to this week's game.
Anybody want to mention anything about Kraid? Because Kraid we skipped over. We mentioned a little bit about the fat guy, but anyone else?
I mean, what is there to say?
Kraid,
He's a good like first.
I didn't mind him.
I think he's great for scope.
Yeah.
Huge after you.
again, that's really what they were going for with that fight, is that they're faking you out with the tiny Kraid.
Yeah, the mini Kraid before.
And when you go in the room,
it's like, oh, I beat Kraid, and then you go and you're like, oh shit, no, that's Kraid, and you're just seeing him
before.
Right, you're just seeing him from the chest up, and you shoot him with a missile a couple times, and then he goes up, and you're like, what?
Yeah, I'm not happy about that fight.
Kraid is, I feel like Kraid is it is a cool fight.
Yeah,
Kraid is kind of like one of the more iconic characters from Metroid.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah, because I haven't played the other Metroids. I don't understand. Is he in the other Metroids, or is it just
he's in the first one? I don't think he comes back after
he's
that.
just like a random character that's kind of become iconic randomly.
Yeah, he was gonna be in Prime, but they took him out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't remember whether he's in Fusion. I don't think
he's not in Fusion.
Yeah, he's
Fusion
not.
is completely different. I think Ridley's in Fusion, but everything else is
Ridley is in Fusion. Yeah, the in Fusion, the environment is all based on SR388, which is the planet from Metroid 2.
Okay.
And Super Metroid takes place on Zebes, which is the planet from Metroid 1.
Oh, that's another thing. I thought, why the hell would you go back to the same base where they kicked your ass the first time? Like, let's go hide here. They won't find us. Like that part.
Yeah.
It's the tactic in hide and seek where you
They won't find me here.
It's like, they already looked here, so they're not gonna think I'm that stupid.
I mean, they had that place fortified. Like that place was freaking. That planet was fortified as hell.
Yeah, and it was still filled with lava. So probably think.
I mean, it's a good base.
Like bases in like in volcanoes. Active volcanoes are a great place to put your hidden base. Apparently, if you're a bad guy.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's a giant like space dragon.
That's true.
And he can obviously the lava does not bother him.
Bothers Crocomire.
Yeah,
great Terminator moment.
Why is he hanging out down there?
I don't know. Hey, Crocomire, you're the one who's weak to lava. You go right with the lava.
Next to a pool. Yeah. Like, here's some spikes on one side. Here's the lava on this side. I'll sit by the lava.
This is your. Why do they split up? Anyway, they all just hate each other. We've taken the Metroid. We're going back to our base. Okay, Ridley, what's the plan now that we're here? Everyone's split up. We'll all hide somewhere else. I don't want to talk to you losers.
Ridley's the only one who was fleeing to the planet. I think the rest of them were already there.
Yeah, Metroid does this thing where you don't know if something is
Yeah, they don't explain it.
You never know what's sentient and what's not. So the alien-looking aliens that are the space pirates, but they don't look like they don't look like people.
They look like
game.
Like weird crawfish.
Yeah.
Well, they're kind of inhabiting the planet, aren't they? Because when you go get the morph ball, that camera comes on and spots you, and then when you go back through the area, the space pirates are there.
Yeah, and then there's the flying ones, but they're not the same creature. They just look kind of similar, like the key hunters, I think they're called. It's just there's a lot of creatures in the game, and you never really get the sense of which ones are
intelligent.
Yeah. I guess they're all sentient. Yeah, you don't really know which ones are
which evil or what's fighting you or what just I live here, you're in my domain, I'm gonna eat you type of thing.
Right. No, I mean the space pirates they're space pirates. So
you don't know that they're space pirates. It doesn't say in the game and introducing space pirate.
Exactly.
You see them climbing on the wall. The sense that you get that they're smart is that they're climbing on the walls and moving around you. But then other things do that too. The hoppers will get around you, but you don't know if it's is that just an insect that hunts that way, or is he trying to outsmart me?
I mean, this stuff is they're bipeds, so that's a little bit of a hint.
Yeah, also the hoppers, I think
they're like aliens.
Oh yeah, well they're not right, but the space pirates are generally humanoid.
Yeah.
That's the main difference. It's okay, these are guys.
Yeah, but then you have to ask Kraid is probably sentient. Is Crocomire intelligent like a human, or is he just a guy that's there because he just beats on the ground?
I think Crocomire is just a big dope.
It's just a big.
He wasn't supposed to be there.
Hey, look, lava. Also here.
Yeah, obviously, like the Ridley guards are like intelligent like Ridley because they're basically.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
they're
strong
goons.
as hell.
Yeah, they're goons.
Yeah.
But then like the spore spawn is just a clam thing. That's not. That's
yeah.
It felt like
no,
just a living organism that was on the planet in your way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what most of the stuff that's not like Ridley, the Space Pirates, and Mother Brain, I think, is that.
Was it Metroid Prime that which Metroid introduced like the narration aspect? Was that Other M?
Other M.
Yeah.
Oh God!
We don't talk
like
about
such
that
a
one.
misstep
We need to
for
play that
series.
someday. We need
No, can we
I'd play
not?
that.
It's not a bad game. It's just a bad Metroid game.
I own it. I haven't finished it.
I own it too somewhere.
Like
It's the sense that I've not played it, but the sense that I've gotten from everything I've seen of it is that they looked at Fusion and they were like, "Whoa, we did a really good job on this one. Let's do it again." And
I feel like a lot of it is like
Fusion, but worse.
Yeah.
Like they took a lot of the like more narrative elements from that, and they just did like more extreme versions of them, and it kind of ruined everything.
Well, it is Team Ninja.
It's like the irony of Metroid. Of everybody asks all these questions of like, I don't know if this main boss in this game is intelligent or not, and then they answer the question in another game. You're like, oh, I didn't want to know. I just wanted to ask.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that I didn't know. That's why I asked. But don't answer it. Don't tell me.
Well, I mean, right? Now we're getting into a whole like death of the author discussion. Like this is like what's been going on with J.K. Rowling.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, no, the wizards they used to just shit their pants
Yeah.
and then like magic it away.
I forgot about this.
Like, I never asked you
What are you
that.
talking about though?
Yeah, it's like she has the
You
mistake
literally
of she'll
said
reply
that.
to anybody on Twitter. But the problem with that is that everybody is on Twitter, so any stupid person can ask the stupid question,
Oh my god.
and that becomes canon.
It's just like we don't need to know all this,
Yeah.
and it seems like you're just kind of making it up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, please stop. You're like retroactively ruining this thing that I love.
It's the prequel sickness of you're giving me too much information.
Yeah.
The fact that there are questions is
Hey,
what
we
makes
get
it good.
We might get to see that with Metroid eventually when we play Zero Missions. That's probably a good game. But-
Zero Mission does not do that.
Does somebody have an eye on George Lucas right now? Does we know that he is not working on Metroid for sure?
No, I will tell you, Zero Mission is the definition of a intelligent prequel.
Okay.
It's
essentially not the same story. It's just other stuff happening. Like,
it is the same story as the original Metroid,
okay.
with a little bit of extra context and a little bit like an epilogue that I'm not going to go too much into, but it does not it doesn't like ruin anything. It adds a little bit of extra flavor, a little bit of extra context, makes it feel like a more complete story. Doesn't add anything bonkers. It's really satisfying to play. It feels like a complete whole. Nothing feels tacked on. It's just a good sort of update of the original.
Yeah.
I definitely do want to play it at some point on this show. I think.
Just go through every Metroid.
Here's the thing. Something I want to talk a little bit more about, actually, because I touched on this a little bit earlier. When you go to the GBA games from Super Metroid, the difference is like stark.
Okay.
The control scheme, the like Samus's move, I did not want to go back to this game for a long time, and I got used to it quicker than I thought. But I did not want to go back to this game for a really long time because the control scheme just feels so floaty. The movement is just so like it feels sort of loose and floaty in a sort of unpleasant way, just especially when compared to the later 2D Metroids, because if you play Fusion, the movement in that game is so precise and quick and snappy. Like she turns on a dime.
It's more fluid.
It's fluid. You can actually grab ledges. Let me tell you, folks.
that sounds awful.
That would have been nice. I would have loved to do that in this game.
There's two very different reactions. You can grab ledges. You're like, oh, that would have been nice. I'm like, that sounds awful. It's just another thing the game's asking me to do. Another thing for me not to be good at.
I'm glad it wasn't.
No. It ledge grabs automatically. Like,
okay,
just literally like,
you don't need to press
because
up and down
all those times when you just barely missed a platform and then you fell down the shaft and you had to do it all again, like that does not exist in later Metroid games, and it is so nice. Like, and the chain bomb jumping is way easier. The wall jumping is marginally easier. It feels better to play. It's like, that's really why I didn't want to go back to this game, and I don't feel like this game. I don't feel like Super Metroid needs to be remade, but if it were, that's the main reason I would want it to be. Is just the controls, just the.
Yeah, I feel like if you remade Metroid, like you'd have to maybe like increase some frame rate, like just add some more frames in there or something, but it wouldn't be. I feel like any like other graphical update would be completely unnecessary. It's like that's not.
Oh yeah.
Just want more control. It's just kind of a different gameplay style.
I just want better feeling movement.
Yeah.
And please, no more pressing select for missiles.
Oh God, yeah.
That was annoying shifting through to get.
Yeah, no. Later games, you don't do that. You literally all you have to do is hold down R. You just hold down R and you shoot missiles. It's great. It's awesome.
That's definitely a nightmare scenario. Like, I definitely shot more than a few super missiles thinking I was shooting their standard ones. Just put like 5 super missiles into a door and just thinking like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that.
Here's the thing I didn't realize. Here's the thing I didn't even know before this playthrough. If you press Y, it'll switch back to the regular beam.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I would have known that like hours ago. Like,
Yeah, wouldn't that have been nice? Wouldn't that have been nice to know?
I'd shoot my missiles and I'd be like, okay, gotta hit select.
Yeah, imagine fighting Crocomire without that knowledge now.
Oh, yeah. No, I get it.
Suddenly it makes sense why it took me so long to beat it.
I like how we don't communicate too much while we're playing the game, because this is great. Just hear it. And I'm glad I'm not the only person that was like, I thought maybe it was my controller. So my controller was, let's not say it, was not an SNES controller that I was using. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, maybe, okay, just a controller I'm playing. That's why the controls feel a little clunky at times. That's why I can't wall jump. But no, it wasn't me. It's just the game.
Yeah. I try to get the controls as close to, granted, an entirely different controller. I try to get them as close to like a realistic NES controller as I could.
I have the ones that are USB.
Well, it's definitely a product of its time, for sure.
I would love, I guess like Nintendo still does kind of the wacky controllers.
Yeah,
in a way, but it'd be really odd to see like the Xbox 2, I guess, whenever it comes out, and it's the like SNES style like rectangular controller, or like
we'll never be back there again.
No, they would
never. One boss we hadn't talked about yet is we hit everyone but Mother Brain. Anybody have any comments about Mother Brain? About how?
I don't think we can finish this episode until we talk about the big climax, right? I think that's phrasing.
Hey, it was a climax. It was pretty cool. It was. I didn't know it was coming, but I knew it was coming.
That's the thing. That's, I think, when people rave about this game, when they're like, "Oh my God, best game ever." At least 50% of that is because of the ending of this game.
Oh, yeah.
Like that final fight is perfect,
and it totally psyched you out too, thinking that that was easy. I took her out. She didn't do anything.
That's the classic.
It wasn't that hard.
And that is a trope that has been used so many times, right? And again, that is the sort of thing this game has done constantly up to this point, is faking you out. But for whatever reason, you're not expecting it this time.
Because it like you're like, it's the end of the game. They're not going to do it here, or it's everything's like fairly standard at that point.
You fought all these Metroids. You've gone through this whole huge corridor. Yeah. By the way they introduce the like grown-up baby Metroid, I love that. It's great.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Again, a fake out. It shows up. You're like, oh shit. It sucks your shit out. You're like, oh no, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna get sent all the way back to the last save, which is like,
that's what I was thinking
back
too
there.
First.
Yeah.
And then it totally like it stops. You're like, what's going on? And you're like, it totally, like, the execution of that moment is perfect because you are not expecting a story beat.
Yeah.
You're not expecting.
Like what?
You're not expecting. Oh shit! We're back in the story.
Yeah.
What?
Well, that's why people hate Other M and love like the old Metroids. It's
because
you don't get any story except in tiny little pockets.
Well, the thing is,
and they're so because it's all you have, they become that much more impactful.
It's the fact that it's so well integrated into the gameplay. You're not stopping for a cutscene. It's not letting you know. It's not putting the black bars on the screen and taking control away from you, being like, okay, it's cutscene time. It's time for story now. Like, it's not doing that. And that makes the moment of the reveal, the moment of the big story beat, it makes it so much more impactful because it doesn't tip its hand.
Yeah.
It's all happening right in front of you. You feel like you're in the moment. You feel like it's actually happening to you. And that's like that whole last 15 minutes of the game is like that. And it just makes the entire experience.
I actually wonder if some kid threw his controller down.
Oh, absolutely.
He probably got mad. Yeah. Or like even when you face Mother Brain and you're like, oh, I really didn't even get to take her out before the baby Metroid comes in. Like,
I guarantee you, at least one kid not only threw his controller, but just threw his controller and was like shit, and then his mom came in and took his game away, so he didn't get to the I wonder if there's anybody out there that got in trouble for cursing because of that moment, and they got their game taken away, and so they never beat Super Metroid.
I mean, at that point, you pretty much. Well, I guess you still got to finish with the rainbow.
You still got to finish it, yeah.
There's not much after that.
That was just the idea of that's the end of the game. I love the idea that somebody out there had that.
Yeah, I mean, I bet I could definitely see it. I really did enjoy the rainbow beam, hyper beam, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah,
that was fun.
Like that's so ridiculous at the end. I love it so much where it it comes out of the Mother Brain comes out of the ground and it's like a T-Rex. It's like there's no reason. This makes no sense. Like
no, it was
shooting
just
again. It's never really adequately explained in the game what Mother Brain is.
Yeah.
Because Ridley up until now has been the big bad, and the only reason you'd be like, oh, of course, Mother Brain is if you played the first one where you beat Mother Brain as the final boss, and she's just a head in a jar. And again, that it's coming from the point of view of you only having played the first Metroid, which is reasonable because at the same time that was the only other Metroid except for the Game Boy one that no one played.
I don't think that one did good in sales.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
And
I played it. It's rough.
And it's that big fake out. It's like, oh, you beat it. Oh no, actually, she's a T-Rex now. It makes no sense. But for people who are in that context of only having played Metroid before, it would have blown their minds.
Mm-hmm. And that's probably the point of it.
Yeah, I think that's the reason a lot of this game sort of falls flat for us some of the time is because we are not in that context of only having played the first one. Because a lot of this game, a lot of those big moments are designed to catch you out of your preconceived notions from only having played that game. But of course, we've had a bunch of different Metroid games since then, so it doesn't really have the same impact. Yeah, but that ending isn't really that. That ending is more about the self-contained story of the game, and it is a beautiful, brilliant payoff.
Yeah, masterfully done.
Yeah,
well, the game itself is just so absolutely wonderfully made of constantly asking you to learn on the fly and think about things, but it's designed in such a way that you don't realize you're doing it. It teaches you without you realizing it's teaching you.
Yes,
this is things aren't how this boss fight will not end this way or something this isn't going to be the end. This isn't really the boss. This is it's just the game teaching you don't trust me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And then at the end, you're like, "Yup, you got me, game. You got me again."
Oh shit! I gotta run.
Well played as you fly away on your spaceship. Well played, game.
Tell you to run, but it doesn't tell you where to run. I knew where to run, but I guess maybe you just figure it out. You got to run to your ship, but it doesn't really tell you what to do. It just says, "Okay, timer."
It's very good at laying out that, linear path, though. Like, it's very, at that point, the game is very much an obstacle course. Yeah. There is that one part where it's basically a labyrinth, which I got stuck in for way too long. But
it kind of tricks you, too, of, like, you think the whole way out is going to be a nightmare. And then you get that, like...
It really wasn't.
When you get that nice, like, linear feel to it, it's just... That's the moment in the game where, like, you should feel like a badass now. You should
exactly.
And fleeing the exploding planet, and it makes you feel that way. It's just it's really such a beautifully made game.
Yeah,
I did enjoy
that
it.
whole that whole final section makes the whole game worth it. Mm-hmm. Like, it is just that masterfully done. It beautifully pays off everything that was set up at the beginning. It totally puts you in the moment. It makes you it just feels satisfying. It feels like a real complete story, and it makes you feel like a badass bounty hunter. It actually makes you feel like you did it.
What's funny is I love the story, and I know some people that love the story of Super Metroid, but it really is only like 3 bits of story.
It's incredibly minimalist.
Yeah, there's a lot of context hidden in the background, so you could like surmise a story, but it really only gives you 3 story beats, I guess.
Yeah, there's not a. I mean, like you said earlier with the dead bounty hunter. I just thought they were dead space pirates. To me, like even now when I was playing it this time, even though I know a decent amount, like I know what the Chozos are, I know the background. I mean, I wasn't even like, my whole thing was just get through this game and get on to the next area, and I was enjoying that part of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't even like, I wasn't really, like Dark Souls, I love the story, but in this game, I was just kind of like, okay, let's get the next thing. Let's fight the next boss.
It's like second playthrough stuff where you play the game and you do it again and you start to appreciate it, and you're like, just like some of the backgrounds you start to think about of, oh, I'm in like a lab right now. That's weird.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I didn't really think about that, but because you get near the end, you're in a lab. Oh, one thing we didn't touch on, we should start wrapping up probably soonish, is we didn't talk about the music at all.
Yeah, that is something I wanted to talk about.
I'm not a big music guy because I played it mostly not mute but close to it.
Come on!
It's just how that's just how I am with some games. I don't usually like have a lot of music going with the game, but I mean, I did enjoy what I heard. Like, I thought I thought it really sets the atmosphere, makes you feel lonely, makes you feel empty, which is what it's like.
Very long bits of silence and then just like creepy like dots and blips and everything. And for SNES in '94, it's impressive. Like the emotion you get out of it.
Beautifully atmospheric soundtrack. Here's what I love about this soundtrack is that there are maybe 2 pieces of music in the whole game that don't make you feel on edge. Right? One of them is the theme that starts to play, I think, about 2/3 of the way through the game in Criteria, in the area around your ship. Once you've gotten like
I know what
power ups, which is it's like
what you're talking about.
You feel like powerful now.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel like you can kick some ass, and
but before that one, the only other piece of music in the game like that is the short item get jingle when you get a power up.
That little jingle,
Which, by the way, I just, even before I was playing this for the show, like just in my life for the past few years, I just found myself humming. I've just found myself humming that to myself over and over.
I can't even think of it. Man, I need to play this out. Okay, yeah.
For whatever reason, that little jingle is the most satisfying thing. And
it's like I love it because it's not like I like the Zelda item kit is my current text tone, which I love.
Yeah,
it's like the Zelda one is like it's just building, and then the Metroid one it builds and rises, and then it falls a little bit. Like it's still kind of wacky and like I don't want to call it out of place because it definitely gives you that sense of like I got something, but it is still like up and down. So it's kind of like, all right, you're good, like you're more powerful, but don't get cocky, kid. Like
it feels comforting in a way that the rest of the game doesn't, which I think is the point, because that's the one piece of music that does that, and it lasts 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you're right back in
You're right back in your lonely game, and you're running around.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like it does such a good, just like subconsciously, it just does such a good job of hammering home like this is like the one safe good thing I have in this whole lonely world, is this one thing I found that can help me.
And then going back and playing it a second time, you're like that much closer to beating Ridley. Just just that little that percentage, that tick. That little tick
and
closer.
It just adds so much, I think, to like the just momentum of the game.
Mm-hmm. Especially since there's so many power. Like it's we say it's a lonely game, but there's a lot in it. There's a lot of power-ups. There's a lot of missiles that you can find. There's a lot of
I was actually kind of stunned going back to this. I did not expect this. Like you get a lot of stuff back to back.
Yeah, almost like
I feel like
until you start backtracking, you're pretty much getting something every third or fourth room. You're going to be getting some kind of power up or
I feel like I
little thing.
Which
it's like it depends because
kind of
how you play it, I guess.
It was kind of a detriment almost to me.
Like how I did it was I was like fully exploring everything, and I could remember in the back of my mind I could still remember like, oh hey, there's a room over there that's hidden. Like you should go check that wall. Like very small stuff that I was just like coming back to me, but like I feel like it spaced it out really well for me because I was still trying to do that. I'd forgotten enough of the map that I was exploring it for, not the first time, but close enough that I'd forgotten everything.
First time for me. Anybody got any last things you we should address for the game?
Really cool. Yeah, I mean, what can you say about this? Yes, I mean, I don't know what else I can say about this game. Everyone's talked about it to death.
Yeah.
Everyone's pretty much in agreement that it's a masterpiece.
I would agree to, even though I had my times when I was swearing at it, but it is a great game. It just
but even when it makes you angry, you get the sense that I'm supposed to be angry here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm supposed to
Ridley fight.
Designed that way. That one wall, I'm still kind of mad at.
I'll say it's a game that I don't think I got mad at me. I don't think I ever got mad at the game.
No, I got mad at the game for that wall. That was bullshit.
Okay, the wall was bullshit, but everything else I was...
Yeah, no, everything else I agree with you.
I was like, I'm getting annoyed. I know how to do this, but I'm just not doing it right, and I'm not learning. But like, it was never like, oh, the game is broken. It was always like, I'm just not being patient. I need to take a minute. I need to take a beat and learn how to do this.
That comic with the wall was bullshit. That comic could really date us depending on but that's all I gotta say.
It's either 2018 or Game of Thrones season.
Anyway, but I think that's another thing that maybe we didn't hit on quite enough is this game is really brilliantly designed to get you to problem solve, but not feel like you were just. It was holding your hand through it. That is a complaint I had about maybe every 3D Zelda until Breath of the Wild was that all the dungeons just felt like just put the key in the lock.
Yeah, they tell you where to go very clearly.
Yeah.
I like that. I personally like that in games, but that's me. I know what you're talking about. Like, I know exactly where
I like it in some games, but I appreciate games that don't. Like you get the feeling going into a Zelda, you're like, okay, this game is just going to be fun. I'm going to just enjoy playing this. And then Metroid, it's like, this is going to be a challenge. It's going to challenge me, but I'm going to feel better for having come out the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
as much as I will play Metroid for fun, it's also like, it's not easy. It's not, No,
it was never easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely have to explore.
There were a couple times when I felt like when I got the plasma beam, you're getting near the end. I did feel powered up for a change. I wasn't scared of the space pirates. I wasn't like, okay, like I can shoot through this. I can get through this. It's not going to be a big deal.
Yep.
And that was a nice feeling when I started getting a few. Like I had maybe half the energy tanks or so near the end when I fought Mother Brain.
Mm-hmm.
They were all near the. I got them a lot near the end after I started backtracking after I beat Ridley, which I didn't.
Some of those are really well hidden.
Yeah.
And the game does give you like
enough
moments where you're like, this fight is. I want to say like the game gives you moments where like this fight is too hard or something, or like I'm getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
I need to go back and look harder.
Yeah. And that's where I almost did that with Ridley, but I'm like, I didn't want to. I'm like, if I do that now, it's going to make it harder for me to finish this game in time, but then I finished it way ahead of time.
Is it right after the, I want to say it's right after you fight the clamshell, whose name I forgot. No, it's,
Forest Spore spawn.
Right after the spore spawn is right when isn't that right when you start having to backtrack? Suddenly.
Yeah, it's around there.
Like teaching you okay, there's you may feel like you've gotten everything, but you haven't. You need to go back and look again.
Yeah.
It does teach you that early on. Really good. You start. I don't remember what ability you get after him. I think you get high jump. Is it high jump after him or that later?
You learn that you have it after him. You've learned you've had it the whole time.
No. No.
No.
The high jump.
You need the speed boost. To get
speed boost. Yeah.
Okay.
The high jump. The high jump is a little later. That's what you need to get to Kraid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you get that in Norfair.
Can't remember
It's not a very big map, but it is so complicated.
Yeah, it's not a very.
It really does kind of run together.
Yeah.
Which.
Yeah.
Again, later Metroid games, not so much.
I know Fusion doesn't, for sure.
Fusion, honestly, that's what I love about that game. Is it's got that really crisp sort of episodic structure, and it makes every moment just more impactful.
Part of that might be Metroid teaching you very early on not to trust the map as well. It's
because there's so many fake things in the map. Here's a wall.
Yeah.
And even when you find the map even when you find the full map unlock, it's okay, I know this isn't right. I know there's more to this.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time.
Well, even Fusion does that.
So it doesn't give you the sense of I guess, but I never got the sense in Metroid of I need to learn this by heart, because it was this is a lie to me.
Oh yeah. No, it's everything about this game is designed to make you want to explore and bomb every block and
you're questioning everything.
Look for those false walls. Yeah, no, it's very, very well designed to get you to do what it wants.
Yeah.
To get you to play it the way it wants you to.
The tagline to Super Metroid. Super Metroid, don't trust us.
Don't trust us.
Look at the cover. I mean, even the cover kind of has that imagery of Samus, you have the big claw, and I think it's on there. Even then it kind of shows you on the atmosphere what you're getting yourself into.
I mean, this is what Nintendo is great at. They're designing something that truly feels like a hostile, desolate alien world. It honestly does feel hostile to the player, and that's not because of the art design or anything like that. It's because of the actual level design and the world design.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the way the game is designed. It's designed to do that.
That is something you're not getting any information, which is good, because it's not the type of game where we've crash landed on an alien planet. Oh, a terminal in English where it gives us the history of the world. Thank God these aliens installed that.
There are Metroid games that do that. The Prime series does that. But
I can't wait till we dive in those.
Man, it's such a different vibe, but it still feels exactly like what Metroid should be. I have no idea how they did it that well. Somehow Prime manages to turn exposition into a meaningful, fun gameplay mechanic, which is mind-blowing to me.
It's funny that we were also talking about doing Lost Planet in the future, because I went back and I replayed Lost Planet, and it's so the polar opposite of Metroid, despite being kind of similar. It's you are just a random human on a hostile alien planet, but that's so much of that game is Lost Planet is set up as okay, there's going to be 11 boss fights in a row, more or less. It's the same level. I'm excited for that game. But then just exposition dump of a character will say something to you, and it's why did you say that weird thing in the middle of your in the middle of our conversation, if not just to give me history of this planet of that's what I told your father about EDN3 when we settled it 40 years ago. It's I didn't need to know that.
What are you talking about?
And then Metroid's the exact opposite of, we're not going to tell you anything.
Yeah,
we're still
there's nothing. The world. I mean, I guess one thing we didn't think about or really talk about is this is back in the day with the instruction books where you would open the instruction book. And I'm assuming there might be something in the story or some kind of beats in the book that you would have read as a kid, which I never did because I didn't own this game nor have the book. But that's something that
that's true.
We're gonna have to dig out an old Super Metroid instruction manual.
I have old books, just not Super Metroid.
I would bet that it would give you the same beat as the beginning of the game, where it's back in this so and so date, that exact. I'd guess it would give you that same crawl over text of that little information of just telling you what happened in Metroid.
It does give you that at the beginning, yeah.
Like,
so is this game does technically have cutscenes, I guess.
It has like
one or two.
Yeah, it has the cutscene in the beginning showing you gameplay from the previous game of you getting the Metroid and taking it to these people, kind of.
Yeah, it does. It shows you the original Mother Brain boss.
Yeah.
By the way, that's setting up the end, right?
Yeah.
It's totally setting up the end.
Oh, yeah.
Same
if you were to cut out 99% of the game and just have the beginning screen and the end screen, you would still have, basically, you'd have the story.
The whole game, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still such a good, like, the actual game is still great. But I do prefer Fusion because it had a story that actually ran throughout the whole game and actually like developed and had twists and turns. That one did rely on dialogue and it did rely on some exposition and that sort of thing. And it did handle those elements really well. But this game is impressive just for the way it's able to tell its story.
It's a clinic in not telling story. It's a clinic in not telling you anything, but still having you learn what you
exactly environmental clues in the atmosphere.
And telling a story, the actual story that it does have is told almost completely wordlessly.
Yeah, it's telling a story through level design.
Also, at the very end, it's telling a story through your actual encounter with the Metroid, through your actual fight against Mother Brain. It's not. There's no cutscene. There's no dialogue. It doesn't take control away from you at any point.
Mm-hmm.
It's telling.
You still get everything you need to know.
And it has so much more impact because of that.
Gaining emotional attachment to a creature that does not speak to you. You don't speak to it. It doesn't really it barely personifies it.
We've not talked at all about the sound design, but how perfect is the little noise the Metroid makes?
Oh, it's great. It's creepy and cute all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because Metroid has the weirdest noises in it too.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Like, in general, Metroid has like this kind of everything in Metroid kind of has like a bizarre like nails in the chalkboard feel of like this is like a really unnerving noise. But
except the item get theme.
Yeah. It's like the item get is like kind of softer.
It's like your one reprieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a glass of water on a hot day.
It's like, oh my God, thank God.
It's just a sip, just a little sip.
The
Metroid is like, it still has that same alien quality to it, but it just sounds like endearing in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that's another thing they set up in the opening sequence. Is the baby Metroid makes that noise. Yeah. So, and it's genius because you wouldn't know that was the baby. Constantly. You wouldn't know that giant thing is the baby if it didn't make the same noise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about it right now, and it's like the way they put this together is kind of brilliant.
Yeah, it's planting seeds throughout the entire. Yeah, not even throughout the entire game. The very beginning.
Just the very beginning, it sort of drops all that for most of the game's runtime, which is. Again, what makes it so effective once the story stuff comes back in at the end, because you're not expecting it. It just comes back in.
And I feel like because there's so little, there's no dialogue in the game, there's no story atmosphere in it, I feel like because it's so little and because that clue you get in the beginning is a sound rather than like a visual, it stays with you.
It does.
It becomes like subconscious almost.
This game is really good at that. It is really good at giving you little visuals or little audio cues that just stick in your head that are going to be important later.
It'd be interesting to see like a movie done that way now of there's no dialogue in it, just a noise in the beginning and a noise at the end, and at the end you're still oh my God, why?
I don't got anything else to say about Super Metroid. I think we covered the only thing I wanted to say, fun fact, it was the largest Super Nintendo game.
It was. Like 3 megabytes.
They used some
big boy.
Yeah,
and it had one cutscene.
That was the last
two, I guess. Now I guess I only have one cutscene that takes away control, right? The end has like a kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it had you have the very short thing of Samus escaping the planet.
Maybe 20 seconds of cutscene altogether. If even that.
Well, the opening is like a minute. Probably at least.
But very quickly it takes you into like the get out of the space, like get out of the laboratory. You have a minute to get out of here, and as soon as that kicks off, it's like, cinematic over. You're in the game now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So probably 20 seconds of cutscene, I'd say.
And I believe Super Metroid was only made by 15 people. It's like a 15
just
people
crazy.
Team. Yeah.
So it was just 15 people yelling at each other like, "That's too obvious. Put it somewhere else."
Oh man, someone must have been doing that in that game.
So
I'm impressed by anyone who can, who drew that map out and basically decided where to hide everything in that game.
How did they do that map?
Yeah. So you'd have to go through an area 4 times to find one item.
LSD.
Yeah. It's actually based on a real planet.
Yeah.
They sent the 15 guys to a different planet, and that's what they experienced, and they came back and they made the game. It was very expensive.
Yeah. I feel like we've been talking almost 2 hours. I feel like we've it's a cliche, we've barely scratched the surface.
That
but
time
like,
isn't completely true. We started at 7:51, but yeah, we are close to 2 hours, but not as close as that timer says.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely it's a fun game. Pick it up.
Yeah.
You could write a thesis statement about it easily.
Yeah. So to all of our wonderful listeners, this is a keeper. I guess we had the ratings.
Oh yeah.
Is it going on the shelf or is it going back in the box?
Yeah.
For me, if we were going to say the shelf is stuff you're going to play again, more like
the shelf is like, I'm going to display this and let people see it and know that I like this game, and I'm proud to have played this game, and I want people to know it.
Yeah.
I would say shelf for me.
Yeah.
Or it goes back in the box and back in the attic, and you don't talk about it again for 20 years.
Back under the race car bed in your childhood bedroom.
I'd say shelf for me.
I would definitely say on the shelf.
Yeah, I would be shocked if any of us said box. Yeah,
I'm gonna say back in the box.
What?
I was kidding. It's too good.
Dark
It's too good
twist of events just occurred.
Explain yourself.
Talk about how much I love it for an hour and 40 minutes, and then say put it away, never talk about it again.
I couldn't tell if you were joking.
Oh no, it's absolutely a shelf game.
I will probably never play this again, but I would love to display it because the cover is cool and it's a memorable game. But I don't plan it.
I mean, make other people play it who haven't.
That ending, just for that ending. I mean, just make someone else play it just for that ending. It's a 7-hour game max. They're not going to be at it for long. It's worth it just for the ending because it is just so perfectly paid off.
And it's like it's got the difficulties of an early platformer, but it still plays, as good as you can expect it to. Like it
still plays well enough. Like you can still it's not like, it's not like going back to something on the PS1.
Yeah. It's not like it was passable.
Like we're gonna be doing.
Yeah. It was passable in 94.
This
is a good game that has lived.
Well, somebody
this game. Well, like we said earlier, this game is one of the few from that era that doesn't need a remake.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
fine the way it is. It is great the way it is. And Nintendo's great at that. Nintendo's great at making games that don't need remakes.
Yeah, aged so beautifully.
Yeah.
It's that perfect game from like the era of pre 3D modeling where it's like for whatever reason early 3D still just looks god awful, but late 2D, early 2D, they all look really good still somehow.
It aged well. Like gameplay aged well, graphics aged well, music aged well, all that definitely.
Good bit mapping.
So if you could find a SNES Classic Edition somewhere,
you can also you can get it off the eShop on the 3DS.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wii U for all those people, still have their Wii U hooked up. I mean, I know mine's hooked up. I haven't turned it on, but it's hooked up.
I think I stopped at the Wii. Did not get a Wii U. Hopefully I'll be getting a Switch soon.
Oh, dude, do it. It's so good.
I don't know. It's just like, see, now the funny thing is now that the Switch has come out, the Wii U has become worth it. It's like, it's only after the Switch has come out that the Wii U is like,
well, yeah, now you can get it for like
actually desirable as a.
I paid too much for my Wii U because I bought it like about 2 years ago, so right before I should have.
Oh no!
Oh, man.
I paid too much for it, but
I had too much faith in Nintendo. I got the Wind Waker edition in 2013. I was like, there'll be good games on this eventually. I believe in Nintendo.
Hey, what about that Metroid game on Wii U?
Oh yeah, that one.
They skipped
I sure love that game.
They skipped 64. They skipped Wii U.
Oh, okay. This is I guess this is the factoid we can go out on. There's a pattern. There's a pattern to Metroid games, at least on home consoles. They skip every third generation. Yeah. So you have NES, SNES, Metroid games, N64, no Metroid. Then GameCube, Wii, Metroid, Wii U, no Metroid.
Yeah.
So every third generation it skips.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Like the Metroid guys in Nintendo are like, yeah, we'll sit this one out. Oh wait. Just bide our time.
And for anybody who wants to find us, you can join the amazing. Well, one, we're gonna have a Facebook group by the time this goes live. There's gonna be a Facebook group for our podcast. There's also the Overblood. We are in. I watched the entire Overblood Super Replay group which is essentially the unofficial Game Informer group, but where we all met each other.
I've been in the other Game Informer group. It's the official one.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, we don't know each other in real life. We're internet strangers.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just met. We just met because we like the same weird people.
Hey, you guys answered the call.
Journalists.
Yeah.
Make a video game podcast with me playing old games.
We met because we were the first four. We were the first three to say, "Yeah, we'll do it."
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the origin story, everybody. Now you know.
The first three people to say, "Yeah, why not?"
Sure.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
So that's how we'll end the podcast. The moral of the podcast is say why not.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you also, as we didn't hear, but you heard our great intro. You're going to hear our awesome outro. Darius, you want to plug the guy?
Yes. All right. So our theme song comes courtesy of Mike Stoney, a.k.a. Bulby. It's the Cool Kids Squad, which is an original tune from his EP, Bite the Bullet. I've been a fan of his for a long time now. He's on YouTube. Check out his channel, youtube.com/Bulby. He does 8-bit and 16-bit remixes of all kinds of video game tunes. He also does original stuff. Awesome guy. Super grateful to him for letting us use his track. Yeah, check him out.
And this is Bulby, B-U-L-B-Y?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I think that's all I got. I want to thank everybody for listening, and stay tuned for next week. We'll have another great episode.
All right.
Later.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
We didn't talk about how we'd say bye.
That works.
It works. Bye.
I'm just going to be fading this part out over the theme song.
Hey.
And fade out.
Okay.